Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from astrolada.com here with April 2021 horoscopes for all of the 12 signs. But first, I'm going to start with a general description of the energy of April with some advice, with good dates where you can start things or days you should avoid. And then I advise you to listen to the introduction always because you get a general feel of the month. And then we'll skip to each of the 12 months. There'll be timestamps, so you can just jump to your sign. And I always advise you, check out the sign of your ascendant, of your sun, and then of your moon. Don't miss on those three ones. All right, so I have good news for April. Actually, they've been very few good months in the last year, and this one as well. They're quite tough months as well. But April is one of those much better months until almost the end of April. At the end of April, we have full moon in Scorpio. That is a bit icky. So I'll walk you through all of those, but I want to share your screen so you can see what is the energy of April. And as you can see, they're mostly good aspects. This is from my 2021 calendar, which is electronic calendar. It's 130 pages. It's 50% off if you want to own it till the end of the year. And you can click on each one of those descriptions and it takes you to the description of what those aspects mean. For example, the first day on the 2nd of April, you see Mars, sextile Pluto, and so on. I'm not going to go through all the aspects because it's just, we don't have so much time. But you can own it for your own use. But just to look generally at the aspects is that most of the aspects are so soft, there is no big, there's occasionally some squares. Squares are the more challenging aspects, but most of the aspects look sextiles and trines and occasionally conjunctions as well. The conjunctions have the most energy, but most of the month is overall on the whole level quite positive. All the planets are moving direct. When planets are moving direct, things go according to plans and expectations. So even if for a day or two they don't go according to plans and expectations, it's a very short period, and then you very quickly align with how you expect things to happen. They happen according to your expectations. And when planets are moving direct, it always means that and they're moving fast, direct. It always means things develop much more easily, and there are a lot of new experiences that are happening. A lot of new experiences in the sense that planets moving direct, they enter into new territory. So the events of April, they'll be moving you into new experiences, new directions. It's not repeating past issues. It's not working on old problems of any sort. And collectively, it's revealing a brand new world of existence in front of us. And it's very rare that all planets are moving direct, basically for the whole month. And then from May, things start getting a bit more complicated again because we'll have Mercury getting retrograde. We'll start getting eclipses. But April, it's kind of this sunny spring day. Let me describe it. Of course, the personal horoscope, there can be some, in your personal horoscope, there can be some stressful influences, but generally the energy for the world is much better, much more progressive, because most of the planets, I'm going to stop the share so you can see me. Most of the planets will be in signs that are very agreeable with each other, and they're masculine signs, signs of action. And especially the biggest energy is concentrated in Aries, and always in the season of Aries, we feel reborn. It's the month of rebirth. It's the start of the new year. We have a lot of energy inside of us to initiate, the more confidence, more excitement for the future. And also Saturn and Jupiter in a sign that makes good aspects to all the planets in Aries, and so is Mars in sign that makes good aspects to Aries. So there is very good harmonious energy. Something is formed that is called bisextile, which is like the roof of a house. If you connect those planets to each other, it forms like a little roof of a house, which means protection, which means opportunities come to us and they easily develop. So the advice would be as initiative. And of course, the masculine signs, fire and air, they achieve a lot in the external world. They achieve a lot in initiatives rather than so much internally. So for the most month, This is how the energies are. Air, fire, a lot of new ideas, a lot of ability to act on them as well. And gradually, you know, it starts, and especially very positive period is after the new moon in Aries, which happens, the new moon in Aries is on the 11th of April. And we wait till the moon starts becoming visible. 11th or 12th depends where in the world you live. But from on the 13th and 14th, those 2 days, I want you to remember them, the 13th of April and the 14th of April, because they're very auspicious day. This is the so-called immortal yoga combination, because this is considered in ancient astrology the beginning actually of the new year, the new of the new solar year, of the new lunar year, basically. And that's after the first new moon in Aries, which happens on the 11th. The moment the moon moves into Taurus and becomes visible, you can start growing, initiating new beginnings. And if you initiate something exactly on the day when the moon is in Taurus, so on the 13th and on the 14th, and the sun is in Aries, the sun is exalted and the moon is exalted. That's why they called it the immortal day. Anything that you start on such a day with the sun and moon exalted and the moon growing, it's long lasting, it gives long lasting results, it's immortal type of thing. And I remember every year I would initiate something on those specific days. Every year they fall on a different day, of course, but when the sun and moon are exalted. Last year I asked my husband to make his first trade in the stock, and he had no idea of trading on that day, and he did it, and for the next 1 year he's been really successful at that. So if you want to initiate a business, it's a great time. 13, 14, that's my birthday. My birthday this year is very great to initiate new beginnings. Plus Venus, from the 14th onwards, Venus also moves into Taurus. So things that you initiate from the 14th of April onwards will bring more financial resources, more financial stability as well for you. So this, you know, if you want to put down on a calendar great days, do it for those days, for anything important that you want to do, that you want to grow and you want it to have long lasting results as well. So yeah, so let's see. And the other big event that's happening this month, it's from around the 20th of April. Venus is becoming visible. It's on my calendar. You can see it as well. Venus has been invisible since it was in Aquarius, since February. That's a huge period of time, almost like 3 months or something, till it becomes visible again. And that happens in the last, from 20th of April, that you're going to start seeing Venus as an evening star in the sky. Actually, for the last 9 months, it has been a morning star. So it started last year, sometime in the summer. It became a morning star. And when Venus is a morning star in ancient times, they knew her like the goddess of Athena Palace, or goddess of war. So it's way more, and Venus rules the relationships between people. And for the last quite a few months, I think from last summer when Venus became visible as the morning star, the relationships are more strained between people. But from now on, from April the 20th onwards till the end of the year, Venus becomes visible, but as an evening star. So you can see it after the sunset. And that's when it's most beautiful and most auspicious, or kind of, let's say, gentler. Its qualities are gentler than not the goddess of war anymore. So relationships between humans will start becoming more agreeable, more cooperating. And, till now, in the last quite a few months, 9 or even more, it's been so strained between people. But now we're coming into the gentler phase of Venus. Venus is also very artistic. Venus will rule any artistic manifestation. So I believe it will become easier for artists as well, for people of beauty of any sort, and for people to come together, because Venus as an evening star connects people. And it's very important to see if Venus this year rises on the time that it's supposed to rise. Because I remember years ago, because this very ancient method of predicting future, when planets become visible and invisible. And my teacher, Nurumen Kolev, who taught us, who discovered this ancient tradition of heliacal phases of planets, he said that when he was testing it in 2008, Venus was supposed to rise on a certain day, like it is supposed to rise around the 20th till the 24th this year of April, but it rose 40 days later. It was invisible for 40 days. And that's when the big financial crisis happened in 2008. And he said that this year it will be very pivotal to see if Venus rises at the time that we're expecting it to rise, because if it gets delayed, by the longer it gets delayed, like a week to 10 days, whatever, there is a chance that a big indication that they will, because Venus naturally rules markets, finance, money, money, currencies in particular, currencies. So let's see. I hope it rises on time, which will say that the currencies in the world will stay stable. But if it is delayed after the 20th of April and it moves to become visible only into May, it might be a big sign for us. And we can only see it with the eye. There is nothing that can, calculate it exactly as like, the date it's supposed to come up. But if it doesn't come up, it's a big omen. So we'll be watching that together with you. We'll probably make a video if Venus rises on time. That will be a huge relief for the world, which means that huge economic financial crisis, at least for the next 18 months, might be, might not be as it is already financially. We're in a crisis, but it might not get worse, let's say. So but Venus is supposed to become visible towards the end of April, and that's a great news for everyone, because Venus rules two areas of everyone's house. No matter what, everyone has Venus ruling two areas of their life, and Venus is naturally relationships and money. So if you are planning on getting married, do it after Venus starts becoming visible, or making some big decisions in relationships. So from the 20th of April onwards, if you're planning on some big financial transactions as well, or financial decisions, or starting a business, that will be, if you wanted some big initiative with business, which is focused on finances, again, it starts becoming easier and better when Venus becomes visible towards the end of the year. But everyone has Venus ruling certain areas of their life, and I'll cover it in the 12 signs, where you can see where things will become easier, or where new beginnings will appear in your life in a very powerful way, because Venus becomes visible in its own sign, Taurus. So it brings stability. When something, the new things it will bring, they'll be stable, and they'll make your life more comfortable. And also Mercury becomes visible around May 26th onward, and it will stay visible till 26th of May. So from 26th of April, approximately 27th, a week before even, you can start, till 26th of May, it's fantastic time to initiate any mercurial activities as well. So actually, you can start it even a week before the exact day of it becoming visible. So I would say again, from the 20th of April, Mercury becomes visible. So if you want to launch websites, if you want to post articles, marketing campaigns as well, it's very good with Mercury. The whole month from the end of April till almost the end of May will be great for any mercurial activities, business activities, communications, negotiations, because Venus will be also visible, social activities of any sorts, planning, business, commercial transactions, writing, communicating, speaking, starting courses, starting to study something, publishing something. So great. But I say that probably if you want to use earlier days, use the day of the immortal yoga, the 13th and the 14th of April, when the sun and the moon are exalted. It happens just once a year. Don't miss this great opportunity. Okay, so now let's go through the 12 signs and see the transits of the 12 signs. I'll be looking here at my calendar. And you can look at me. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. I think this month will be one of the best months of the year for you. First of all, it is your month. Whether it's your sun in Aries or ascendant or even moon, you'd feel recharged. You'd feel invigorated again. It's like almost like for the last 1 month. Before that, you probably felt much less energetic, maybe in March. maybe you needed to sleep more. I turned into a hibernating bear, sleep 12 hours per day. But now this month, we're reborn again. We're full of energy, and especially around the new moon, new ideas on around the 11th, maybe a few days before and after of April. You're going to download the program for the next 12 months. So pay attention to the inspirations that come to you, write them down. It's new opportunities will appear. Often some of the most important events that will happen for the year happen around someone's birthday, if your sun is in Aries, or around the new moon in the sign of your ascendant and the new moon in the sign of your sun sign. So around April the 11th, the 12th, 13th, and especially the 12th, the 13th and 14th will be extremely positive for you to start something new. I want you as an Aries sun or even Aries rising to mark down those days, 13th and 14th of April, because of the immortal combination. Moon is exalted. It's starting a new month. It's starting the new year, actually. And the sun is exalted in Aries, 13th and 14th of April. If you want to be successful in something, do something connected to that activity in your life. Initiate something around that time, even if it's like buying the name of a website, or making a first transaction of some sort. So or starting something, because you're going to see over the next 12 months great results. So you're downloading the program for the next 12 months, a lot of inspirations, important, and a lot of new beginnings, initiatives. And I would say that from the 14th, and Venus is in your sign till the middle of the month, which makes you going to feel more attractive. You're going to even attract more finances and resources of some sort, or you're going to have more pleasurable experiences, which is like some luxuries, some matters connected to relationships, but in a positive way. You can experience like a good date, for example, good socializing with people till the 15th. You're naturally luckier when Venus is in your sign. You're protected. You even start looking more attractive. Yeah, the choices, when you make choices to buy anything of value, you usually make a good choice then, and you can even gain more resources, more money in some way. And Mercury is in your sign as well till the 19th of April. So I would say from the 4th of April till the 19th of April, Mercury is in your sign. So it is very busy time for communication, a lot of information. You might have to, social media, the flow of information will increase for your business. If you're in any administrative business tasks, they would increase as well. You can be more successful in such matters. If you have some important communications to talk about as well, it can increase. It's a lot of those things, kind of those planets really support you. And not only that, but they're making Mars is in your third house till 23rd of April, and it's making good aspects to planets here in your first house. So Mars is supporting you to open doors with more ease, to initiate activities with more ease, and it is in your third house till the 23rd of April, which means that the flow of information increases to be very hectic. A lot of writing, a lot of speaking, a lot of social media, a lot of news that are coming to you. For example, because I'm Aries Sun, Mars in my third house, I've been recording every week videos for 7-8 hours. It's nonstop talking, communicating. I've been doing a lot of business because third house is connected to business, and Mars makes you extremely active there. Your mind can become overwhelmed a bit hyperactive as well until the 23rd is like that. And from the 23rd of April, when Mars is you, it rules you as an Aries, moves into our fourth house, and it will be there in Cancer from the 23rd of April till sometime in June, actually. Yeah, till the 11th of June, so for almost 2 months. It's going in our fourth house, so the focus will shift to us towards the end of April, towards home, property, place of living. You might be building something at home, working. You're going to start feeling a drive to dig in your garden, or to fix something, to repair. Mars likes to fix, repair. Or you might move furniture around, or you might be very active about trying to get back home, or changing place of residence of some sort. There will be developments, forward-moving developments in regards to property, to home, to place of living. On the negative scale, you can feel way more restless. emotionally, because the fourth house is house of how you feel emotionally. At home, it might get a bit crazy. You might have too many activities at home, or the kids might be too wild, or it might be just more tense situation. For example, people that you live with or family. It's definitely more likely at certain period from the end of April, most of May, to stress you out more, to kind of press your buttons a lot more, to have a bit more fight with parental figures or something like that. But if you're in real estate, if you're connected to taking care of small children or nursing of some sort, or catering, these are all fourth house careers, or hotel businesses as well, you'll be very active from the 28th of April in a positive way, because this energy picks up. Then there is very fast-paced developments that happen, or if you want to move or relocate, you can use this energy, or to do something together as a family, to be more active as a family in the family unit, to do a lot more activities with the family, and to take certain steps towards something to do to property, home, or going back to place of your original country, for example. But of course, it can stress you out emotionally, because Mars from Cancer makes hard aspects to Aries. So you'll be more triggered and you'd act out more emotionally after the 23rd of April. And of course, Saturn and Jupiter continue to be in your 11th house. This is great for social, for some big projects that you might be working on, some long-term goals and projects, great for connecting and creating a social network and business transaction of any sorts. And the most important events that's happening is that towards the end of the month, both Venus and Mars are becoming visible. They're being born, reborn again, especially Venus. The more important activity is Venus becoming visible, because it has been invisible for the last 3-4 months. It's becoming visible in your second house. It means a new opportunity will appear for you financially. And it might be even connected to some partnership and some collaboration, because Venus also rules the seventh house, like a partner appearing. But that will increase your financial stability. I would advise you to take any kind of financial opportunities that appear, and they might be brought to you by another person, to take them very seriously, and to towards the end of April, because it will be very auspicious for you. It can be extremely auspicious, and Mercury is there in the second house, financial opportunities, something of, to create something of value, of worth, to start on those steps towards the end of April. And also the second house naturally rules to enjoy the five senses. With Venus there, good food, good materials, good clothes, anything of the good smells. You'd have an opportunity to experience more of those things from the end of April, from the last 10 days of April, when Venus starts becoming visible, even from the middle of April. So yeah, beautiful views, beautiful smells, beautiful food, and so on. All right, Taurus, sun, moon, or rising. Well, the month, you might start the month feeling less than, feeling a bit more tired than other times, because there is, especially till the middle of the month, or till the 20th, I would say, most of the planets are in your 12th house, Taurus. And that's, if you're Taurus sun, probably people have noticed that a month before their birthday, they start feeling more lethargic, they need to sleep more, they feel less motivated, the immune system becomes weaker, and they get colds more easily, or anything that comes up when the immune system is weaker, because the life force withdraws from you. When the sun and other planets move through the 12th house, it withdraws and it goes within, so you can get you need to take and nurture more your soul, your spirit, because you're being prepared for the next cycle that will start for you when the sun enters your sign from the 20th of April. And then gradually you'll start getting more and more energy. It's like you're rising back on the horizon. You're going to come back motivated. And use that time when you feel more withdrawn and within yourself, the first 20 days of April, to reconsider the past, to see what is it that I need to let go of, or to complete things that you haven't completed, rather than start new things. And then from the 20th of April, the sun enters your sign, and you're going to start really feeling more excitable, more full of life. Your life force and immunity will strengthen and come back to you. So you can you'd find yourself again willing to take on the world, so to speak, and new ideas start coming to you. While the 12th house energy, you can use it to have more time alone, even if you have important worldly things to do the first part of April. Just give yourself more time to rest. If you can go on a holiday somewhere or escape to a spa, to a hotel, to some place away where you can just retreat from the world. If you have your own little room where you can be, do some spiritual activities or just some reading or just some walking in nature, that's the great way of using the 12th house. And don't beat yourself up if, like right now, I'm having all planets in the 12th house and I'm just like a bear sleeping so much. Don't beat yourself if you feel like that. But then the energy start coming back the last 10 days of April, and into May, you'll come into full power. And you continue though to have Jupiter and Saturn in your 10th house, so you need to be, despite of needing to take a bit more breaks the first 20 days of the month, you should be very active, and some very important developments can be happening in regards to your career. It's the whole year almost that this is active, maybe working towards some long-term goal or changing your social status, working towards some project or career of some sort. Some heavy hitting authority figures might be around you as well, teaching you those lessons, but it's just what it is. And I think you can still have great success at career in especially the first 20 days of April, because Mars is making good aspects, and the planets in Aries are making good aspects to your planets in the 10th house. And then Mars is in your 2nd house, putting a lot of focus on finances and resources till the 23rd of April. Maybe even some kind of a hustling there, or having to fix some problems there with resources and finances, or teeth. Also be careful. The 2nd house rules the face, or some kind of wounding that can happen on face, teeth. But also it's 2nd house is connected to securing yourself materially, financially. And then Mars from the 23rd of April till June, till the middle of June almost, moves into your 3rd house, from where it's going to support you a lot more. Mars in the 2nd house till the 23rd of April is great for career, for work, because it's making good aspects there to your 10th house, to get things done in a practical matter as well. And then it moves, and it can mean you're spending more. Well, Mars is in your 2nd house, certain expenses can come. But then it moves into your 3rd house, Taurus, and from April 23rd, the whole May as well, and part of June, is going to be in your 3rd house, and you're going to notice that the flow of information really increases for you. Actually, you're going to start feeling great in the last 10 days of April, because planets are moving into your 1st house gradually, bringing you energy. Venus starts to bless you. Actually, Venus enters your sign already from the 14th of April. So you're going to start feeling improvement about how you feel from the 14th of April already. And Mars from the 23rd enters a sign that is very auspicious, kind of makes good aspects to the sign of Taurus. So suddenly you can become very proactive after the 23rd of April into communications, into writing, speaking, commercial business activities, marketing, advertising, any skill set. You might become very proactive into acquiring new skills, new knowledge, or you might have to do a lot of activities that require business meetings or meetings and talking with people, using your hands or using your skills or using your communication abilities, or if you're in media, that means making a lot of media content as well. It gets very hectic there, but you move forward, you can get a lot done there. You just be careful that while Mars is in your 3rd house, you don't have squabbles with relatives, with mates, with teammates. And even if you're working in a small team environment, it might be very competitive with colleagues and mates and friends, but also very active. And then when you're traveling, Mars in the 3rd house, driving your car to and from April 23rd, just be more cautious, because this is the house of driving and transportation with Mars there. You're more, let's say, prone to accident. I'm not saying anything bad will happen. It's just, and I think Mars has mostly good aspects from there. So, but just to be cautious. And also 3rd house is electronic devices, phones. So the whole May and the last 10 days of April, just be careful that you don't break, damage in some way, such devices, communication devices, your passwords, your um, online giving up your details. Just be cautious, because Mars can sometimes play like the body, like someone who wants to steal your details, your documents, or hack your account. So just those are the things you have to be careful with, though. Okay, or the car breaking down sometimes, or having to fix it. And the biggest, most important event that's happening for you, Taurus, is that Venus is becoming visible in your sign, is being born from around April 21st, which means something in you are Venus. While Venus was invisible for the last 3-4 months, maybe you felt a bit down. Maybe you felt not as energetic, not as inspired, or just things were happening more difficultly, like maybe you were working behind the scenes on something, but now you can bring it to the surface. Now you can present it to the world starting from the last 10 days of April, even from the middle of April, I would say. So it's, especially if you're born around April, if you're born from April 20th to April 30th, those type of Tauruses, Venus is becoming visible over the place of your sun, or if your ascendant, sun, or moon is basically the first 10 degrees of Taurus, extremely auspicious for you, that the planet of money and beauty and love is being born at the degree of your sun, moon, or ascendant. So for some of you, that can be the birth of new love. For some of you, that can be the birth of new financial opportunities, the birth of improved, more comfortable conditions. And because Venus is you, new ideas are going to come into you. They're going to inspire you, new, better opportunities, more improved situation in life. Plus Venus rules your 6th house, becoming visible in your sign means opportunities, new opportunities for work can appear, for new opportunities to improve your health in some sort of way, or see or make some tangible steps in a good way to improving your health, or finding a better doctor. So this is great. And Mercury is becoming visible in your sign, so they can be the birth of Mercurial project the last 10 days of April. And the Mercurial projects can be business, communication, writing, speaking, publishing. If you have anything important to do with speaking, with writing, with software, with internet, important meetings of any sort, do it when Mercury is being born in your sign. So I think you're one of the most blessed signs, but that's in the last 10-15 days of the month. The first part, maybe like regroup or prepare behind the scenes. The last 10 or 15 days, you're going to start beautiful things happening for you. And of course, there is a full moon in Scorpio, which is quite tense on the 27th, I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, on the 26th, it's a little bit intense, but it's coupled with all those beautiful things that are happening. Venus becoming visible, Mercury, so it's gonna soften it for you. But the full moon in Scorpio, because it's square by Saturn, there can be some tensions in relationships, some challenges there, be careful, or some completion of relationships, contracts, or seventh houses, agreements, contracts, and full moon is to see the results of that, or to complete, or even some kind of crisis in relationships. That because it's kind of a tense, like having to cleanse someone from your life somehow. Okay, what about Gemini? Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. The month starts quite positive for you, full of energy, and you focus on a lot of 11th house activities, which is can mean that you're involved with social activism of some sort, that you're very interested in the affairs of the world and actively participating, that there is an opportunity for you to join some group or organizations of like-minded people, to make some networks or business connections that are very effective and very good for you I would say the first 15-20 days of the month, to be active, even to participate in some large gatherings, or to connect more with friends and like-minded people. And 11th house is also big dreams and wishes, so to move ahead with actions towards long-term dreams and goals or some big projects. It's like the 11th house is project on a larger scale that involve more people, that involve, it might be business projects of any sort, that you can have considerable success, and see advancements there in the first 20 days of the month, and social interactions with friends. um, Mars continues to be in your sign, Gemini, till the 23rd of April, which means that um, you're very active, you're very initiative, you get a lot of things done. You might be even physically more active. Till that time, it might be great to start some workout routine. It might mean that you're very active with work responsibilities, because Mars rules your sixth house of work, but also health. So you might be physically active for health reasons as well. Mars also rules your 11th house, which is also triggered. So till the 23rd of April, you can be very proactive in getting started with big projects, and being involved with friends and associates, with large groups of people, or with gainful activities. 11th house rules gain, so being very active on to achieve some gain of some sorts, either social recognition or material gain, socioeconomic gain. But also it can mean that you're more stressed than normal. And because Gemini rules the lungs and the hands, be careful for accidents there, or generally cuts, burns, any kind of such things till the 23rd of April, when Mars is in your sign, any accidents type of thing. But also just because you're a bit more impatient than other times, that you might fight with people more easily. But on the higher level, it can mean that you're just not going to wait around anymore. So you're very proactive, you get things done. And maybe that's why maybe you're impatient if others are being slower around you, but you're getting things done. And then from the middle of the month, planets start moving. And from the 20th, especially, you're going to start feeling that planets are moving into your 12th house. So you're going to start feeling a bit less energetic, especially after the 20th of April. Until the 20th of May, 23rd of May, you're gonna feel, and that's basically when Mars leaves your sign, the planets enter your 12th house. So the last 10 days of April, you're gonna start feeling a bit less energy. Mars no longer makes you so highly strung out and so active physically. It moves into your second house. It's about consolidating resources, fixing things around home and family. It's more introverted, and financial stability. You focus on such things. While the planets are moving into a 12th house, the ones from Aries, and 12th house is about rest, taking it easy. So the last 10 days of April, the first 20 days of May, you might allow yourself to take more rest, allow yourself to have more alone time. Uh, Allow yourself to dive into more spiritual activities, into activities connected to spending time alone, spirituality, spiritual practices, or just being around nature, sleeping more. It's okay to sleep more when your 12th house is so activated from the end of the month. Venus in the 12th house indicates that there can be some and Venus is becoming visible and born in your 12th house, so it can bring something new after the 20th of April. What is new things Venus in the 12th house can bring? It can bring a holiday, for example, possibility for a holiday to escape reality in some very pleasurable way. It might be escape to a hotel or to some beautiful destination that makes you disconnect from the worldly responsibilities, or opportunity to take a break of some sort. Or Venus being born in the 12th house can give birth of a secret private affair, something that is a bit more hidden. Venus in the 12th house can give birth of you starting and really loving some new spiritual activity and practice. And if you start it, then you might keep it for a long time. And spiritual activities and practice might be gratitude list, might be spiritual activities, might be walks in nature. Spiritual activities can be, but because it's Venus, it's something that you're really gonna love, and it's connected more with the five senses in some sort. And Venus also in the 12th house can indicate that you can be spending on something, but that you really desire more from the middle of the month onwards. that really gives you a lot of pleasure, but it's some kind of an expense. And also 12th house is foreign countries. For some of you, it can bring the opportunity to give birth to to go to a foreign country. I know it's hard to travel now, but there is opportunity there from the end of April that opens up for you to faraway destination of some sort. And there you go. And Mercury becomes visible, guys, for you from the 20, what was it, from the around the 27th, 26th of, you feel it a week before. So again, after the 20th of May, Mercury becomes visible, and Mercury is you. And it's going to be visible the whole month of May almost, and becomes visible in your 12th house. So again, the birth of something private, something that you don't declare publicly, something, maybe the birth of a new research or a new course of study, because 12th house is very much about studying something, researching something in depth, and it might be more mystical, more spiritual type of energy, maybe writing things or articles or social media activity that is connected to 12th house matters, spirituality, mysticism, astrology, even of the like. So starting some psychological work with another person. It might be with a psychic, or it might be with a spirit guide or counselor or psychologist, you know, that you can initiate then, or you can initiate some very important projects, business projects, even connected to this 12th house. If it's a spiritual or healing business or traveling business, or business of guidance of some sort, you can initiate some big, the business side of it, like launches of products or writing about it, announcing it towards the end of the month. But it's kind of like, be gentler on yourself from the end of the month. You can give yourself, you know, you can be active behind the scenes, spend more time alone, allow yourself more sleep, and so on. All right. So what about if you're Cancer? Cancer, the month starts very active with planets in your 10th house, really supported by planets, by Mars in your 12th and Saturn and Jupiter in your 8th house, which means that your career, you can have some breakthroughs in your career, new beginnings with authority figures, important developments with institutions, but in a positive way, that you're helped there. You can, for example, approach a boss and your boss, and you can receive and you can ask for something, or if you're your own boss, you can really start some important project now, have a lot of advancement and forward movement there with your executive decisions or career decisions, or your reputation of some sort. So it's great, you know, if you want to do any such things. If you want to start a new job around that time, again, new career, new big project, this month is fantastic for you, especially after the new moon in Aries. So from the 12th, 13th of April. And then gradually, those planets start moving first Venus into your 11th house. Then the sun, Venus goes from the middle of April, the sun from the 20th of April, and Mercury from April 19th. So yeah, at the same, no, yes. So Mercury and the sun enter at the same time. So from the middle of April, the energy is going to start shifting into your 11th house, Cancers, which means that you'll become socially much more active. You'll become, maybe you'll connect with like-minded people. Maybe you'll connect, you'd be required to be more, even if it's not in person, if you're social distancing, maybe through social media in some way, to be active with other people, to build bridges, to initiate new beginnings there with people in the last 10 days of April in particular, and big part of May. This can be time when you can get with like-minded people, when you can do some social activism, where you'll be very interested in the affairs of the world, the current trends and affairs, and discussing them, and also where you can do important strides in long-term goals and wishes and dreams and some big plans of yours. And especially towards the last 10 days of April, Venus and Mercury are born in your 11th house. They were invisible till then and then become visible. So a new opportunity can be born for you, Cancers, which is connected to maybe meeting new friends, meeting new like-minded people in your life, or meeting and something new is born in this 11th house in a positive way, because it's two good planets, Venus and Mercury. So it can be the birth and the beginning of a new long-term goal and wish of yours, long-term uh, uh, plan of some sort. The 11th house rules large goals and plans that, you know, that don't usually involve you, that they can be spread to many clients or to wider audiences. You can come up with the idea to increase your clientele base, so you can come up with the opportunity to spread to a larger audience, to expand your influence, social influence as well. And you can join some like-minded groups or clubs that give you access to the right tools or information or circumstances to achieve some long-term goal and dreams of yours. Plus Venus being born in your 11th house, the house of gains. So for some of you, it can mean the birth of some gainful endeavor, or some endeavor that will bring you social recognition. So pay attention to such matters. In the end of April, I think it will be very nicely surprised, more gainfulness of some sort. And the 11th house rules a salary. If you work for someone, the salary you receive, the income is the 11th house. That can be also an opportunity for income or salary opportunity. And I think the most important event this year is Venus being born. So that's why I had to make the April videos to mention that. And so, and Venus for your rules, the 4th house, it can be gainfulness connected to property or place of living that becomes possible. And the 11th house, again, like-minded people, large events, groups of people. If you have an opportunity to go to a concert or to go to some conference where you meet with like-minded people, it can bring something wonderful into your life. The right connection, the right people. And so both, and 11th house is a business house as well. So Mercury and Venus being born there for you, business can start being quite good, you know, to make the right connections, to get more clients, to make more transactions, and so on. And gainfulness. So I think it's quite lovely from the, especially, you know, and before that, the planets in Aries, well, they're in Aries, they're in a very auspicious house for you, which is career, visibility. And then they move to the 11th house, so socially quite active month. To the 23rd of April, Mars is in your 12th house, and it might be, it kind of gives problems with sleeping. People like have a lot of nightmares, a lot of restless nights. It's kind of because you put action into the area of the bed and sleeping, so it's kind of exhausting. It's almost like you can't rest at night. But then from the 23rd, and you might feel exhausted at times, for sure, while Mars is in the 12th house, because also Mars is your actions. When it's in the 12th house, you might not feel as motivated always. But from the 23rd, Mars moves into your sign. Big event for you guys. Happens once every 2.5 years only, that Mars enters your sign. And it's going to stay there till June, till the first 10 days of June. So huge, for almost 2 months. A month and a half. From April 23rd, Mars enters your sign. So it's going to make you way more initiative, way more proactive, physically active as well, especially very initiative in matters of career, because Mars rules your 10th house. So it first, Aries activates the planets here, so your career is already activated. Then the planet that rules your 10th house moves into your sign. So you naturally will have to deal with a lot of career matters, with authority figures, with institutions of some sort. Might have to deal with police and other such Mars figures. But there's some authority there. And Mars also rules your 5th house, comes into the 1st house. You can get very much more proactive and involved with matters of creative projects of some sort. It might be a creative project that is beneficial for your career, you know, because Mars rules the 10th and the 5th, creativity, original ideas, and your career, social status. You can start being proactive in such matters and act on them. But also 5th house, Mars as a rule of the 5th house, is to entertain yourself, to get active in pursuing things that you're very passionate about. pursuing things that, and this can be a romantic interest as well that you start pursuing, or that comes, it becomes part of your reality for the next month and a half, you know. um, and also Mars rules the fifth house. The fifth house is children, proactive with children, or with your own original ideas that you're acting on. So this is a great yoga that is forming for you when Mars enters your sign, especially if you're rising Cancer. Because when we have the rule of the 10th and the 5th, which is Mars, combined and triggering your sign, the 50 is inspirations, something that you're great at and you're inspired. God gives you the idea, the inspiration, the brilliant idea. And the rule of the 10th, which is again Mars, is to act on it, to make it happen. So you have this for a short time, for a month and a half only, but this, you would feel like a more inspired person who acts on the inspirations and can get a lot done. It's called greatness yoga or Raj yoga, that's being formed by transit for a little bit. So you can do something great, I would say. And I would advise you to use, you know, this 11th house trigger and activation of connecting to like-minded people. Maybe some kind of benefactor can help you, reaching out to others, building bridges. This is what's going to help you. All right, but at the same time, don't be careful, because Mars transiting your sign can make you more susceptible to cuts, to burns, to accidents, to stresses, fights. You know, it has this nature of being more emotionally triggered. My husband is Cancer. It's like I have to walk on eggshells already. I don't know what I have to walk on then. But yeah, definitely you will be more irritable than other times. But look at the deeper picture that you can achieve something of greatness. Maybe this irritability and this anger is triggering the potential for greatness for you to achieve something, and especially to achieve something inspired action, that you're active on something, to achieve something with your career, with children, with romance. Okay, now what happens if you're Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising? The month starts with strong activation in your ninth house. It can be great the first 20 days to travel if you can, to exchange information with people from faraway places. It can be quite auspicious to learn and study something, to study to pre-qualify, to take courses or classes, to enroll in such things, or to plan some journeys. If you, it's actually for some of you, it might be quite possible the first 20 days to do a journey, especially far away journey. Because far away means to go to another country or another state, where you take a plane, basically, not just for the weekend. And so that's a possibility with this powerful activation of your ninth house. Plus, also it means teaching. If you have anything to do with teaching, you might be able to launch some important project then, to get great inspiration about that. To, if you have some legal matters to do, like legalization of anything, this can be auspicious time the first 20 days of the month to do it, Leo, as well. If you have matters to arrange with foreigners and foreign countries, or something of professors, academics, fantastic time again. And also something very inspirational. You might have more interactions with teachers, inspirational figures. You can see, you can just feel like you are more inspired and more aligned into the flow and luckier the first 20 days, because Aries supports Leo. It's another fire sign. It makes the most auspicious aspect to it. So the first 20 days, you can feel generally that there is more luck behind you, that you have more energy, that you have more inspiration, that things happen with ease. You know, somehow the ninth house, it's like when you're in synchronicity with things, when you start flowing, you're looking for a place to park and you find it. You pass on all the green lights always. It's kind of alignment, being in alignment. It's much easier to enter that state of alignment, into the vortex, as it's known, into the flow, when planets are triggering your ninth house in a positive way, because you're connected with the higher perspective of life. You don't get down so easy. You keep your vibration higher. And this is when God connects with you and sends you messages in regards to your direction and the future as well. So that can make you feel very connected to a higher purpose and to a higher meaning in life, which again, that's the highest vibration you can reach. So you align more easily to the things you want, to the things that are best for you, that the universe thinks are best for you. And then gradually from the 14th, first Venus moves into your 10th house, then the Sun on the 20th and 9th, and Mercury on the from the 20th of April. They move into your 10th house. So the last 10 days of April and the first 20 days of May, they'll be extremely hectic, let's say, with your career. There'll be a lot of new developments in your career because Venus and Mercury are becoming visible there as well. So the last 10 days of April, and I would say the first 20 days of May, some powerful new beginnings in your career will appear, like new project in your career. I think like the inspiration you got from the ninth house when planets were here, you'll be able to transfer it, and the vision for the future that you got. Well, and the vision for the future that you got, this inspired action, this inspired period for you that gave you wings, now you can translate it in practical action in the 10th house from the last 10 days of April, the first 20 of May. You can really change, and they can be the birth when Venus and Mercury are being born the last 10 days of April. They can be the birth of a new career opportunity for you. For example, they can be the appearance of a new boss, or the appearance of a new possibility to change your social status to a higher one. And it's positive one because it's Venus and Mercury that are being born in your 10th house of career. These are two auspicious planets. They can be the birth of a new Venusian career for you, or opportunity which can be connected with beauty, with art, with music, with food, or with luxury projects or entertainment, or the improvement of your social image, or the birth of some career project connected to Mercury, writing, speaking, administrative tasks, business, marketing, advertising of any sort. But any career, whatever you are, especially if you're a Leo rising, to a lesser degree Sun or Moon, but them as well, these as well, expect really good news towards the end of the month and the start of May in regards to your social status, in regards to matters, big projects that start giving you great results that you're able to initiate, to bring out there, to start them, and so on. And even some authority figure might be helping you in some sort, or someone with higher status than you might appear to help you in some way. All right, and the first part of the month till the 23rd of April, Mars is in your 11th house, which makes you very active in matters regarding gains, profitability, social connections, connecting to like-minded people. You might be quite initiative in such matters, joining groups. And because I'm Leo rising, I'm smirking because since Mars entered our 11th house, the whole March, I've been on all those social groups that are about changing society, social transformation, social awareness. But because it's Mars, I've been like so angry. Why is not society doing something? Like I want to go and protest and all of those things. Yes, I'm one of the conspiracy theories. I'm one of the that people in the media are saying we're, the terrorists or whatever. I'm not going to do anything bad, but like I don't agree with what's happening right now. I don't agree with the taking of liberties. And 11th house is very much about fighting for social justice, is very much about being involved with the interest of what's happening in the world right now. And Mars, like you're angry, you want to do something about it. So we have this energy going on for a bit. You might be fighting with friends more, with like-minded people. But also you might be just very proactive in finding new clients, moving forward in steps with long-term projects and goals, which is also the 11th house, which you can be quite impatient with, but at the same time you get things done there. So you have the support of this energy for quite a while, almost all of April. So get a lot of things done. If you have long-term project, if you're working with other people, get proactive in networking. You might even get a little bit to business. You can be very successful when Mars is in the 11th house to get a lot of things done in regards to business, especially the more sales part of it, the more advertising part of it, or to procure through your own initiatives more fans or clients. whatever you want to say, but just, and you might be very active interacting with friends and like-minded people. I've been constantly every day speaking with so many friends as well and trying to help them with their problems. But then Mars moves into our 12th house from the 23rd of April. So you're going to notice that we retreat a little bit, like not retreat, but like we chill down a little bit more. And when Mars enters the 12th house, this can mean that from April 23rd till June, till the middle of June sometime, you might become very active in making happen something behind the scenes. You might be preparing something behind the scenes. And you might also find that your life forces, let's say energy and initiative is a bit lower, even though I would say the first 10, 15 days of April, the last 10 days of April, the first 10 days of May, you're very active in career and such matters. But just for the month and a half after that, Mars in the 11th house, it can indicate more spendings, more, I would say even taking it easy, or if you're doing something, do it like more charitable actions, getting involved more with charity. And I forget to say, but always 10% of Astrolada gains go to my favorite charity, which is a lady that I personally know, and I know where every dollar goes. So thank you for the contribution by watching those videos. So if you consciously get active in matters of charity of some sort, or helping, those in lesser situations after the 23rd, this Mars in the 12th house can be again very positive instead of just spendings or hidden enemies that attack you. That's another negative thing of Mars in the 12th house. Hidden enemies doing something behind, slanders, slurs that are hurtful, someone hitting you in the back, And in order to counteract that, a remedy is get involved with more charity, help people with more need, that need a little bit more. You can even do something to, also you can get involved with 12th house activities, which is being active in spiritual practices, which is being more active around nature, going outside in nature, relaxing, or which is also being more active with foreign countries, maybe some kind of initiative to travel to faraway places where you organize those things, or initiative that involves people from foreign countries as well. So there we go, Leo. Quite a lot of activity there. Virgo, rising sun or moon. The first 15, 20 days of the month, there is a great focus on your 8th house, where the sun, Venus, and Mercury are. And the 8th house has to do with taxes, activity there with insurances or inheritances or mutual finances. It is one of the financial houses, so you might be dealing with such matters. On a deeper level, it rules intimacy, secrets, conspiracies. You might get very much into such topics, into the darker side of life, to confront your shadow side. You might become more aware of the negative motivations of others, and almost like a Scorpio, feel them like an X-ray. If someone is lying to you, if something smells off, you'll be strongly attuned to that. You might get a little bit dark even, because the 8th house is one of those hidden houses that deals with taboo topics, with the darker nature of humanity, with the unprocessed, unregenerated psychological behaviors of people, and your own, of course. So it can be a great time to delve into such more occult topics, more taboo esoteric topics, into psychology, into astrology, into some kind of deep research, often psychological, or research into your traumas, reading about such topics that sexuality, block sexuality, or whatever, any kind of traumas you might be more aware of. Working with a psychologist might be great, or with an astrologer, or just doing some deep investigation of your horoscope or of your deep motivations. So you become quite intense, let's say, the first 15, 20 days. And again, you might be drawn to the more darker topics somehow, or the more occult, more taboo topics of life. And mutual resources, that's the more material side. You might be dealing with something, I don't know, like your partner. There might be, for example, your partner might be his financial situation, if you're married, or hers might be changing somehow. This is also money that comes to you from clients, or other people's resources in some sort. So you might be dealing with having to procure or secure such matters in some sort. And then gradually, from the middle of the month, first Venus moves into your ninth house, you're going to start feeling much lighter. Like if the eighth house is kind of this, the tunnel that you pass through, the birthing canal, it's a bit intense psychologically, emotionally, you can feel way more emotionally intense, but then first Venus on the 15th, 14th move to your ninth house, then on the 19th, 20th, the Sun and Mercury move into your ninth house, so you're going to start feeling much lighter. The last 10 days of April, you're going to come out of that dark zone of the eighth house, that very psychological, and you're going to start, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. You enter into the light and you're going to feel lighter, more positive, optimistic. The eighth house rules all of those really uplifted energies and higher consciousness. It's the house of the higher mind. So you're going to see some problems from a different perspective that you had before. You're going to, if something has been bothering you for a while, you might start having the last 10 days of April and the first 20 days of May, a lot of aha moments, like you've been lifted up from the trees and you see the forest from above and you see the road that you have to go on, the path where you're heading. So some revelations will come to you, some insights from the deep work of digging that you did in April. Towards the end of April, you're going to start seeing the deep psychological transformation that happened to you. You're going to start feeling lighter. You're going to start feeling more aligned to higher consciousness. They describe the ninth house, the feeling when it's triggered. It's like being in the flow. It's like aligning more to divine will, aligning more to divine consciousness. And when you're in the flow and aligned to your higher purpose, this is when things start happening by magic. You almost feel like you're driving somewhere and you're on a parking place and you find it immediately, or you're thinking about something and the right people connects to you. It's by magic almost, because you're aligned, and God talks to us through the ninth house, through signs, through omens, through inspirations, through sometimes a teacher will appear in your life, or you might get a reading with a psychic or astrologer, or some very insightful person can come and just give you a different perspective and suddenly snap you out of a dark state or snap you out of a situation of feeling stuck. So it's like you're starting, it's like the caterpillar, while it's in the cocoon, is the eighth house, the big alchemical processes. It feels like, oh, I'm dying, I'm disintegrating. And then planets move into your ninth house and you realize you're a butterfly and you start pumping out your wings. And there's like a mini rebirth process that happens to you in April. Towards the 8th of April, you're this new being, way more inspired, way more aligned with the vision. You're going to start getting inspirations where you're headed, and most of April, most of May is going to feel like that. So you're going to feel luckier, more positive. Plus, there can be an opportunity for you to travel somewhere from the last 10 days of April and a big part of May, to a foreign country, or taking a plane to another state, or to interact with people that are not from your environment, that are from another state, from another country. They give you a different perspective. You become more open-minded. You become more philosophical. You become more, and when you're philosophical, you approach life with way more positive, because you find the meaning, the purpose behind certain events. And that can be a great opportunity, because Venus and Mercury are being born also the last 10 days of April in your ninth house. This is pivotal. The most important events happen when a planet is born. It becomes visible in an area of your horoscope, and they both are becoming visible the last 10 days in your ninth house. So that can mean an opportunity can appear for you at the end of April or the start of May, to study something, to teach something. Ninth house rules those things. To start on some pre-qualifying course, or to get an inspiration about new direction in life, and you start preparing and studying for that, or teaching. It can give you an opportunity for travel as well, to arrange matters suddenly that come about, distant travel, distant relocation somewhere even. It can give opportunities about higher knowledge of some sort. And they can appear some teacher in your life as well. not necessarily as a professor. A teacher can be anyone, but some benevolent figure that points in the right direction. Plus, the ninth house naturally is connected to the father figures in one's life. There can be some good development happening in the life of a father, or a new phase that you start in your relationship with your father. A new philosophy can appear in your life. And plus, Venus is the planet of love. Appearing in your ninth house, you can develop love for some country, a different culture, a higher knowledge of some sort that you can develop love for. I don't know, maybe studying astrology, who knows? Or you can develop a love can appear to you from faraway place, not someone from your town, not someone from your immediate circle of acquaintances, someone from a distant place, let's say, maybe a next state, a different country, or someone from a very different cultural background than you, or from a very different social background than you. And that this kind of people will expand your consciousness and opportunities. But if there is a chance for you to travel, especially if you're Virgo rising, I think that will be very auspicious, the end of April, big part of May. Legal matters is the ninth house, legalizing of something, whether you want to legalize your status in another country or something like that. This is when positive developments can start happening as well. At the same time, Mercury becomes visible for you at the end, from around, I would say you start feeling from 2021. It becomes visible exactly around 26th of April, which means you're going to start feeling again at the end of the month stronger. You can, when you do things, they can become visible. They can become, they can have an impact on others around you. You're coming out of the shadows. You know, your planet was invisible for a month till now, and it will stay visible for a whole month. So most of May it will be visible. Very good time for Virgos, I would say. Very good time from the end of April till the end of May. Your planet is strong. You can initiate new beginnings in your life, especially you can initiate new beginnings connected to this ninth house. And your physical energy starts coming back as well. This ninth house is everything that we talked about. So yeah, good news there. And Mars is in your 10th house till the 23rd of April, and it's been there the whole of March, and almost the whole of April it will be there. So you can still get a lot of things done in regards to your career. You can be very proactive with your career, pursue new career opportunities, or maybe be quite busy with some duties, responsibilities, their worldly responsibility, but it's very active. You're action oriented. Plus, your actions can be quite visible, but also it's some authority figures is the 10th house. So hopefully, you know, Mars in the 10th house can give problems with police or bosses or fighting with such authority figures of some sort. But on the positive level, it makes you very proactive to achieve career, to solve problems with career, to move ahead, to elevate your status in some way. But from the 23rd of April, Mars enters your 11th house and will be there the whole May and a part of June. So you'll become very proactive in connecting with others, building bridges from the end of April and most of May. You might fight with friends a bit more, that's the negative side, or with elder siblings. But on the positive side, you can get very proactive with like-minded people in pursuing profitable activities and in moving ahead with long-term goals and dreams. So big projects in your life is also the 11th house, and getting a lot of things done there. And you don't wait around, you get those things done. So there you go, Virgo. That's for you. What about Libra? Libra, sun, moon, or rising. The first part of the month is very much focused on relationships. There is a new moon there. Someone new can appear in your life, a new partnership, a new contract, a new agreement, a new relationship partner as well. Personal life can appear, or if you're already in a relationship, some new phase can start. You can see that your partner is starting some new phase in their life, that your partner is coming into their strength, is initiating new things. Of course, there's a lot of involvement with others. If you're in consulting and advising, in sales of any sorts, and working with people on one-to-one. That will be very busy month, the first 20 days. And of course, if you want to meet someone, especially if you're Virgo rising, this can be a time of the month where of the year, sorry, that you meet an important life partner. Okay. And then planets start gradually moving from the middle 1st of April. Venus moves into your 8th house. Then on the 20th, the Sun and Mercury move into your 8th house. So from the middle of the month, or the last 10 days of the month, powerful focus on your 8th house. And the 8th house is way more psychological. It's sexual as well. So if you, for example, some of you, if you initiated some new phase or some new relationship in the first part of April, then it can get more intense, more psychological, more intimate towards the end of April and May. Or if you initiated a new phase in a relationship, already existing relationship with your partner, maybe something new is happening there with you and your partner, you can move into deeper intimacy with your partner as well. And 8th house, and Venus and Mercury are being born in your 8th house. This is so important. You're ruled by Venus. This is great news for you, Libras, because from February till almost the end of April, Venus, your planet, was invisible, which means that it was maybe a little bit in the shadow. Maybe when you tried to do things, it was not so easy to manifest it externally in the material world. Maybe you did not have as much energy as well, as much life force, because that's the planet that rules you, So you're kind of hidden, or maybe you were preparing something behind the scenes. But now, at the end of April, when Venus becomes born, you become reborn, you become much more able to impact in a tangible way the environment around you, to initiate things of any sort. Because Venus rules you, in any initiatives in your life, basically, will start going well, and they'll start giving material results, visible results, just like Venus becomes visible. So you'd feel way more empowered as well from the end of April, when Venus starts being reborn. And because it's in your 8th house, for some of you, it can be the birth of some intimacy, more intimacy, the birth of a new secret relationship, even sexual relationship. It can be also the birth of, and a lot of focus on matters of 8th house rules, finances, but mutual finances. You can start some new project that involves not only you, but other people that you can benefit from materially. So pay attention towards the end of April, the start of May, for opportunities coming to you from others, especially if you involve, or if you're using their resources or skills or talents or their finances or their money, or even attracting more clients of some sort and the finances of clients. 8th house is stock markets as well, and investing in, big kind of where people put their money together. Stock markets is everyone puts a bit of their money there. So it's kind of mutual funds and stocks. They can be an opportunity of a great new stock that you can invest in, for example, or even that some initiative you do on the stock market that can be very profitable, some investment that you do that is not only you, but maybe you and your partner's resources that you invest in. A great opportunity will appear towards the end of April for some of you, or it can be a great opportunity to invest in some mutual fund, or a great opportunity to benefit from the resources of another person, from their support, whether it's mental, psychological, or emotional, or material support that can come to you from others. For example, you can receive something from another. You can receive, if you want to fundraise money of some sort, it will be great opportunity from the end of April, the start of May, to start fundraising something. Dealing with taxes, insurances, it's going to be quite positive if towards the end of the month, if you might be able to find a right accountant or advisor. 8th house is hidden money as well, some kind of unregimented source of income that can appear for you. All right, so an 8th house is very psychological. when Venus and Mercury are born there, you can have some powerful insights about your traumas, about the past, about the psychological blockages that you have. And eighth house on a higher level is healing, transformational healing, but through a healing crisis, student healing. So I have great hope that some of you will experience such kind of a first, it starts with a crisis, but some crisis that brings in a very short time that brings healing. It can also mean for some of you starting to work with a psychologist or with an astrologer or someone that can dig to the bottom of your soul and discover your hidden treasures there and discover your blockages as well. So starting work with someone like that who can help you overcome traumas and transform, or even energy healers of some sort, because the eighth house rules the chakras that can help you. And I don't think it's going to take you like months and months. I think with this intense energy of two planets being born, two auspicious good planets being born in your eighth house, if you start any energy work or psychological work or digging deep and trauma work, or even some intimacy issue blockages that you have, you can very quickly get to the root of it with 1 or 2 sessions. So you might read something, investigate, and get clarity and and release a lot of kind of issues there and transform on a deep psychological level. But you'll find a lot of new interest that you start developing towards more secret things, towards more interest maybe in the occult, in studying astrology, because Mercury is to learn something new. In the eighth house is psychology, astrology, to investigate the subconscious. Venus is love for something. You might develop great love for astrology, great love for some research on something on a deep level, for psychology, great love for conspiracy theories, great love for, and you're going to start smelling when something is off. You're going to develop those from the end of April and a big part of May, basically. You're going to become like an X-ray for bullshit. You're going to be drawn to the darker side of life, but it's almost like you're going to smell out the traumas of others. And because you're simultaneously working with yours, you can have deep insights there. And the shadow side, you can be drawn into knowledge or information that deals with the shadow side, and starting some alchemical process there of facing it. But again, as I said, you might benefit a lot from, on a material level. For example, you can get a tax rebate, or you can get a great loan for a company. You can get a great mortgage. This is what the birth of two planets in your eighth house can give. If you need a loan, taxes, or your partner can suddenly have new opportunities, financial opportunities that are born, like suddenly your partner brings more money, some new opportunity appears there financially in particular. And you get in touch with your own hidden resources as well. But this can also make one more sexual, more intense. As I said, some hidden sexual interest can appear. It's my husband's ascendant sign. And I'm having Pluto square Venus, so I'm jealous from the smallest thing. Okay. And at the same time, Mars has been in your ninth house and is till April 29th. This can indicate that there might be some travels over with a plane or longer distance into another country. It's a bit more stressful when Mars is there, but there is definitely activation. You might feel very opinionated, and you probably are already, because it's been there for a while, about matters of truth, morality, very opinionated about your worldview. You might even be fighting with people about what you consider is right and wrong, your philosophy, your beliefs. And you might, till the 29th of April, undertake some educational course of studying with a mentor, with a teacher, that you might be very proactive in pursuing travel or higher knowledge or pre-qualifying knowledge, information, or teaching of some sort, and or sorting out some documents connected to foreign relocation or legalization. And then from the 23rd of April, Mars moves into your 10th house, and it will stay there for you, Libra, till the first week of June. So for a month and a half, you'll become extremely active with career. For example, you might initiate the search for start a new job, or you might get very busy with worldly responsibilities and duties in your career. Things can get very hectic there. Just be careful not to have clashes with authority figures like father or police people or bosses, because Mars there can make you quite emotional and reactive to such authority figures. And to clash with such, that they can be certain things that trigger you for the next month and a half, from the end of April till June, the middle. So you have to be a bit careful that it doesn't, that you don't, because the authority figures around you can be quite bullish, let's say. But also on a personal level, if you have your own business or your own boss, you'll become much more initiative, you'll become much more active in the world, you'll get a lot more things done, let's say. And yes, Mars can definitely stress you when it's in the 10th house, because it squares Libra from the last 10 days of April, the whole month of May. You can feel more triggered, more easily flammable. But this trigger and even this anger can be used in a very constructive way, because Mars loves being in the 10th house, because this anger can push you to improve your social status, to get a lot of things done with work, career projects, to be more pushing initiatives in breaking through your social, through breaking through to increasing your social status and career matters. Well, there you go, Libras. But don't forget that the whole year you have the support of Saturn, most of the time also of Jupiter in your 5th house. It's still the most important focus for you matters at the 5th house, which is creativity, which is inspiration, which is to create something new this year, which is to develop your natural talents and maybe turn them into business for some of you, which is also romantic love life and children. A lot of focus continues throughout the whole year. Now, if you're a Scorpio, the month, the first 15, 20 days are very busy with your work, 6th house. If you have a work, or if you don't have a work, especially around the new moon, 11th of April, and after that, for the next 10 days, you can initiate or you can find a job. You can make big strides towards getting your duties and responsibilities fulfilled. In a sense, 6th house is things that have to be fixed, to be done, projects that have to be done. So your workload will definitely increase. Or if you are not employed, you're going to get quite busy looking for employment. Then there is very great positive chance that the first 20 days of April, you can actually find the right employees or the right employment if you're trying to get employed, or if you're trying to get someone to fix your house, to move your luggage, whatever these are, to move your furniture, to fix something. This again, employees, dealing with employees, that you can be quite initiative, get things very easily done, find the right people right now. And also you can be quite proactive and quite with your health, which is the 6th house. Initiate their, new routines, new nutritional regimes, new workout regimes, because Aries is so, so active and so inspired. So you can use this inspiration there, or to inspiration at your work to get a lot of things done there. And then gradually the energy starts moving towards your 7th house. And Venus first moves from the 15th of April, then the Sun and Mercury from the 20th of April. So suddenly the shift starts going a lot more on relationships. And the good news is that actually to the last 10 days of the month, Venus and Mercury are being born in your 7th house, which is very rare to have, especially 2 planets born. And I don't know when, in how many years Venus will be born in your 7th house, but this is especially if you're Scorpio rising, to a lesser degree Sun or Moon, but still matters for you. If Venus is born in your 7th house, a new relationship can be born for you, a new romantic partner, a new love, or a new phase in the life of your marriage partner, if you're a commitment partner. Something really good comes to them as an inspiration, as an opportunity, or new opportunity, or new business partnership can be born, or some kind of collaboration towards the end of April, the start of May. Watch out for that. It will be very auspicious. It is Venus and Mercury that are bringing it. A new contract to sign. It will be great time from the last 10 days of April. And the first 10 days of May, I would say. New contract, new agreement, new collaboration, new client that can come to you, new important client, new business ideas, because the seventh house is about sales, is about working with another and making great deals. So something good around that can happen. Plus your personal relationships, as we said. Because Mercury is there as well, it becomes visible from the last 10 days of April. Again, you can forge a great deal, a business deal, some business commercial contract or agreement as well, or sign a contract or agreement for something. I don't know whether it's for, it can be for property, for work contract, for anything like that. Good negotiations. You can attract more clients. Oh, we talked about that already. But there is a full moon around the 26th, I think. 26th, there is a full moon in Scorpio here. So you might feel, and it's a bit tense because it's square Saturn. And it's a little bit more challenging, this full moon. But it's time for fruition and seeing results. So towards the end of the month also, you'll see, not only are you starting new things here through other people, by collaborating with someone, or starting a new partnership or relationship, starting a new initiative with another person, but you also are you are also in the spotlight because of the full moon happening at the same time in Scorpio. It's almost like you're also seeing the results of your actions for the last 6 to 18 months, when there was a new moon pretty much at the same degree in Scorpio, was 18 months ago. So maybe there's the completion, the seeing the results of something you've been doing for some time, or since the last new moon in Scorpio, which was 6 months ago. This can be a time now towards the end of April where you reconsider your plan of action. If you're thinking, oh, well, something is not, you're seeing the results. And if they're not good results, you'll be like, okay, I have to shift something here. So, with my action, with my plan, so some kind of adjustment will be needed. But you're definitely going to feel a lot more emotional with this full moon in your first house, that is square Saturn. There can be some challenge that comes to you from the family, because Saturn is square from the fourth house, or from your emotional past, from that some issues that come to the surface. This is full moon to realize it in some way. And some shift is happening because of this powerful full moon, it triggers angular houses in your horoscope the end of April. Might be a bit rocky, but this new shift might be a bit, takes you out of your comfort zone, but the angular houses are always about something big changing in your life, in the direction of your life, in your relationships, in your family, and so on. The most important other thing is where Mars goes, because Mars is you. And the whole March until the 23rd of April, so for a month and a half, Mars has been in your 8th house. And most of April will be in your 8th house. So you have to be quite active there, solving problems, because Mars is a problem solver, dealing with matters of insurances, of inheritances, of taxes. Some of you that you're very proactive there, maybe a bit stressed as well. And you have to be more cautious with, and also with intimacy. There is another thing there, that sometimes person can be more secretive when Mars is in the 8th house, and it's been sometimes secretive with money, sometimes secretive with relationships and sexual relationships. And sometimes also it means that you're very proactive you've been dealing with taxes, insurances, inheritances, mutual finances and resources, or also sorry, it's funny because my little son is Scorpio rising and Scorpio moon, and since Mars entered his 8th house, he got like a penis fascination, and he's been looking at it, and it's like the 8th house rules the sex organs as well. It's kind of a bit obsessive there, but I'm not saying you can do that, but it is there in the 8th house, and it continues to allow you to work on deep psychological issues, on deep psychological traumas that you can dig out till the 23rd of April. And because 8th house, when your ruler is there, you have to be a bit more cautious with accidents and such things, because 8th house, suddenly things can shift and change. So you have to learn to balance with fast changing environment. Plus the 8th house is digging deep into the psychology of your traumas of your past, maybe digging deep into and being very initiative with learning astrology or researching conspiracy theories, researching deep taboo topics, and smelling the bullshit. If there is some bullshit, you are able to smell it. Just like Scorpio becoming even more scorpionic, and you no one can fool you. And that's very intense. That's why often people when Mars transits the 8th house can get into the occult, into astrology, finding the deep answers of questions, into research of some sort, into conspiracy theories, and into power struggles. 8th house is naturally a house of power struggles that is triggered when Mars transits there. But from the 23rd of April, Mars starts going into your 9th house, and it's going to be much more supportive towards you. It's going to be making trine to your sign, and you on Mars, don't forget, you're going to get more, you're going to get more positive when Mars is in the 9th house. Things will start happening easier, and that will be the whole May and the start of June. You're going to start realizing that you can open doors much more easily. You try something, it happens fast, because your actions, which is you and Mars, it's your actions, get aligned to your higher self, get aligned to God's will. Your will gets aligned to God's will when Mars transits the 9th house. It happens in subconscious way almost, but because of that, you'll start feeling that things happen in a aligned way, that things like you're at the right place at the right time, synchronicities are happening. It's much easier. You don't have to break your head to get things done. And it can also indicate that in that period, you can become proactive into studying something, higher knowledge, into pre-qualifying or teaching something. You might be very active in teaching something, or you also might get active in fighting about your beliefs, about your philosophies. You've done your research when Mars was in your 8th house of research and digging deep, and now you're coming it and you're preaching it, your truth, whatever your truth is. You might be fighting for something of your truth. Sometimes the 9th house is legal matters as well. You might go and have to try to fight for some legal matters, but the results are quite positive because Mars is giving good aspects to you in your chart. The 9th house is also might be active in foreign travel, in organizing some papers or documents for foreign residents. And it's going to be stressful because it is Mars. Mars does everything stressful, but Mars lets you move ahead fast as well. This anger of Mars pushes you towards quick resolutions and quick actions in matters of travel, foreign relocation, higher knowledge, studying, pre-qualifying. But it's funny when Mars transits the 9th house. One is very opinionated and very acts very fast on. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, and then I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for Scorpio. Interesting month. Quite intense month with the full moon in your sign, with the 7th house triggered. Wow, new beginnings. A lot of good stuff. Some more stressful, but I hope this was useful to you. Now, if you are Sagittarius, the first part of the month is quite awesome. The first 15-20 days, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury are in your 5th house, sending only positive rays to your sign, Sagittarius, which means that you're going to have more fun in your life, especially if you're Sagittarius rising, Sun and Moon as well. Things will happen with more ease. 5th house is a lucky, fortunate house. You're going to feel more fortunate. You're going to feel more alive. Your immune system will be stronger. You want to have more fun as well. It's much easier to work out or do sports and enjoy yourself when planets are in the 5th house. You can be center of attention in some way. Also, if you want to do some performance or present yourself, you can be very entertaining. You can do it in a way that grabs the stage and the hearts of the audience, because the 5th house is the house of performance. And you can do a performance even if you're a businessman to perform you might be performing a business plan, but you can do it in an entertaining way, almost like a rock star. So if you're in any creative, if you appear on videos, or if you are in any way where you need to not only just deliver information, but be creative, be original. You'd be on fire this month. Or if you're going to a party, you might find yourself the center of attention, being quite, funny and entertaining. You might find yourself much more flirtatious. The fifth house is flirting, is romance. You might find yourself that there's more romance, fun, enjoyment in your life around that time. Some of you might even meet a potential romantic partner in the first 20 days of April. Others might find themselves spending more time with their children, but it's positive because the planets here in Aries are receiving only good aspects from Mars, from Jupiter and Saturn. So developments with your children in a positive way, some new positive developments with your children, spending more time, being more fun, or some initiative, if you want to have children, that you can do that can be successful the first 15, 20 days of the month. Also, creative projects is the fifth house. So you find yourself sparkling with ideas, new ideas that is your own. So you can shine somehow with the brilliance of your mind right now, with the brilliance of your creativity and originality. Or you can just be more childlike. You just align to the joy of life a bit more creative. You can do some hobbies, and you can discover some new talents of yours, some new fascinations, some new passions that get you excited and feeling more aligned to life. And then gradually from the middle of the month, so awesome month, use it. If you can go on holiday, if you can go out more often, if you can go have fun, if you've lost the spark of the romance with your partner, you can restart it now. And then Venus on the 15th or 14th moves into your sixth house. Then on the 20th, Mercury and the Sun move into your sixth house. So after the more enjoyable time, it's time for work, sixth house. So at the end of April, the last 10 days, and the first 20 days of May, you'll become much more practical. You'll focus on getting things done. You'll focus on completing any tasks, errands, duties. You'll become a bit more perfectionist. You need to pay attention to details, and you'll start paying attention to details. You might even get some work that requires a lot of fine details, crossing the I's, dotting the T's. So focus goes to your work a lot more, and to your health. It's like if something gets triggered with your health, you can do very successful steps from the end of April and most of May to correct it by your diet or by workout routine of some sort, by supplements and nutrition. Your interest might suddenly shift, maybe you partied too much and now it's like, okay, let's detox, let's clean up, let's take care of my body a little bit, let's ground, let's dig in the garden. You connect to earth more. The sixth house is earthy, the sign is Taurus. Let's ground myself a bit more through work, through routines. And actually you might really start enjoying some new routines. And I know Sagittarius don't do well with routines, but from the end of April, the second part of April, when Venus, the planet of love, goes there, and Mercury, and they become born, they become visible in the last 10 days of April. This is huge. When a planet is reborn, it becomes visible, something new appears in your life. And since these two planets are wonderful, Venus, Mercury, they're benefics, what can be born is like a newfound love for some routine or health regimen that can improve you. Might be new nutrition or supplements or some workout exercise that you'd really enjoy. It's Venus that you feel passionate about. Plus, Mercury allows you to make a plan and to follow it and to be more methodical. Or it's not necessarily just for your health. It can just mean that you become more methodical in approaching your daily environment and your work. Maybe waking up a bit earlier, brushing your teeth, or having, paying attention to those things that maintain your health and body, but also that make your day work like a clockwork. So you might decide that it's time from the end of April to put some order and organization around you, to do some spring cleaning, to literally sixth house, the house of cleaning, and homework and the things that you might start doing such things that are practical, that are fixing things, that are or also sixth house is work. So the birth of Venus and Mercury there from the end of April and the start of May, they can be, if you're unemployed, for example, or even if you are, the possibility for a new project or a new job. Or if you're a boss, you can find new employees that will be great. I'll advise you those employees that you find, because of the birth of Venus and Mercury, that would be good for you because it's two benefics that bring those. New work opportunities, new employment or employees, or if you want to hire someone to build your house or to build your swimming pool, someone to watch your kids, this is again 6th house people, you'd have a great opportunity to find the right person for those things to employ towards the end of April, the start of May. Okay, and for some of you, it can mean a pet. It also rules pet. You might suddenly decide, I want a, I don't know, cow, pet cow or pet pig or pet cat. So you can get one of those things. But also, if you start some new projects at your work, it will be very auspicious. Anything connected to your work, it will be very auspicious towards the end of April. First, you get the creative ideas when planets are in your 5th house, Sagittarius, the first part of April, and then you get to work to get them done. Also, Mars, till the 23rd of April, is in your 7th house. All of March, it was in your 7th house. Till the 23rd, it's in your, oh, forgot to tell you, Venus being born in your 7th house, Venus's love can indicate the birth of the romantic relationships from someone connected to work, or from your gym, 6th house is such places, or from the juice bar, but from work usually. Okay, so Mars in your 7th house, all of March, most of April till the 23rd, means that you can be very proactive in securing deals, in purchasing more, in pursuing more clients, but you're not the most agreeable. And also the people that you attract around you challenge you more. They're Mars showing energy. Maybe they can motivate you, excite you to get things done, but at the same time, they can also press your buttons and trigger you. So your marriage partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, some committed relationship, or clients that you work with one-on-one, they can be more challenging. They can be more sometimes impatient, and you might be impatient with others as well. Just be cautious about you, especially Sagittarius, later born Sagittarius, from around the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius, or from 20 to 30 degrees Sagittarius. They can experience more stresses from others. Their partner might be more stressed, or too hectic, or too busy, or they might be very busy working some partnerships, and it gets a bit more competitive with another person. But on a positive level, you can get a lot of things done with your partner by collaborating with another. If you overcome this competitive streak there between the two of you, and sometimes seen when Mars transits the 7th house, that you just attract more Mars person around you, clients and people that you interact, that they're more youthful or more impatient or more driven or more excited, more ambitious, and that is what pushes you as well. This is what makes you more ambitious as well. But again, as I said, there is a lot of activation, especially the first 20 days of the month, in houses of relationships. 5th house is romance, 6th house is Mars transiting day, sex, straight on sex, connecting with Mars rules the sexual organs with a partner. So for those of you who are single, April till the 20th can be a time to really connect with or meet someone else, or be more sexually active in some way. And then from the 23rd of April, Mars moves into your 8th house, so it's going to make you deal more with 8th house matters. Okay, it's quite tantric as well. It's about even pursuing very intense sexual connections, and they're more psychological, more intimate. It's almost like bearing yourself naked, open in front of someone, and becoming vulnerable and allowing them to penetrate psychologically, emotionally, type of thing. It can deepen, basically. If a new relationship started, Mars in the 8th house can deepen it, but this is when also the psychological power struggle starts to happen. The more you allow something closer to you, and with Mars in the 8th house, you can usually, more intimacy, more sex, this is when the power struggles start happening, until the two people align themselves, understand how they work, but this is when this mouse and cat and mouse game starts happening. Also, it can indicate that You are very proactive with dealing with other people's resources and finances. For example, you might have to be it's also expenses. There can be some expenses that you have when Mars triggers, and that's the end of April and most of May. And also connected with taxes. There might be some problems you have to fix there: taxes, insurances, inheritances, where you have to be active with the smart. That's a bit more stressful. You have to deal with that. And mutual resources, but you can also become more proactive in getting more mutual finances and resource from clients, other people's resources, going after them, more proactive fundraising for raising funds, or you can become more proactive for securing some loan or a mortgage. Eighth house is money from banks or from others. You can also become a bit more reckless with stock markets, or more, let's say, more courageous. And I think Mars is doing quite a few good aspects from Cancer, so it's more like courage that you do there, that you manifest. But also this can be a fantastic time from the end of April and the whole of May to work on psychological issues. And because Mars is the planet of intervention, it's like a surgical knife, and the eighth house is your traumas. And it's known that when Mars transits the eighth house, it can give sudden reversals of some psychologically stuck situation, especially if it's an emotional matter. And it can give you suddenly, like sudden healings or sudden, and especially if you work with a psychologist, and and not a passive psychologist, one that digs deep with you, or an astrologer or a psychic. Some truth can come to you that cuts to the core, and that makes you like realize some painful patterns you've been having, repeating karmic patterns or traumas. You can get to the bottom of those. That's why working with it's very good to become very proactive in working with a psychologist. So studying astrology can also give you deep insights, or diving into the occult for such answers, or examining your subconscious, examining your motives and those of others. Plus, you're going to start noticing the hidden motives of others a lot more from the end of April. You're going to be like an X-ray. You're going to smell when something's off. And you're going to be attracted a lot more to taboo topics, to sexual taboos topics, to exploring sexuality and intimacy, to exploring the occult, exploring even matters connected to conspiracies, the dark side of life, your shadow. And on a more practical level, I said there might be certain expenses connected to a partner or through other, some things that have to be sorted, which insurances, taxes, and so on. Okay, if you're Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Capricorn, it is quite, the month starts with a focus on your fourth house, which is family, home of living, place of living, property. There might be some new beginnings there, some renewal. Maybe you want to renew your garden. Maybe you want to freshen up your home and be quite active, or you might just be more active and have some lovely moments, because Venus and Mercury are there with your family the first 20 days of the month. Especially if you're Capricorn rising, you can feel that. Or if you want to relocate, it can happen more easily. If you want to buy or sell property, there might be certain important developments that trigger it now, and you start seeing some results. Dealing with family or going back to country of origin, this is auspicious activation, or researching family history for all such things, or anything around the property. Or if you're someone who is in real estate, or that can be quite good period for you. At the same time, there is Venus starts moving gradually into your fifth house from the 14th of April, 15th of April. And then on the 20th, Mercury and the Sun join it. And that's my favorite house, the fifth house. So from hum and drum, daily rhythms of family matters and such, you go into the house of joy, and Venus loves being there. And not only that, for the first time in years, Venus will be born in your fifth house, together with Mercury at the same time. To have a planet be born means that Venus was invisible for a few months, and now it's going to become visible. And it happens to be your fifth house, which is one of the most enjoyable, pleasant houses. Whenever planet, and As I said, the last time Venus was born in your fifth house, I don't know, might have been 8 years or something like that, maybe more. I haven't checked, but it's very rare occurrence. So that's towards the end of April. Venus gets born in your fifth house. That's a house of joy, and it's in its own sign, so extremely powerful. Fifth house, if you're single, or even if you're not, it's romance, it's falling in love. It's that's one of the things. If you want to meet someone, this is one of the most pivotal moments this year that this can happen, especially if your ascendant or moon is in Capricorn. The sun to a lesser degree, because the sun is more connected to career, but still. So they can be the birth of a new romantic interest or the renewal of a romance. If you're already married, it can be like there's an opportunity for you to go away on a holiday or to do something romantic, to reconnect, to have fun, to feel more in love with your partner or with a new partner. Fifth house is also children and getting pregnant. Some of you, it can happen if you're trying, for example, for IVF, or if you're trying to get pregnant. I would advise you towards the end of April, do that. It's rare for Venus to be born in your fifth house, and it gives auspicious events connected to fifth house, which is children falling in love. Another way it can play out is that a new creative project comes to you in your mind, like you suddenly get illuminated in May or the end of April with a brilliant new idea is born into your mind, because both Mercury and Venus are born within a week, the last 10 days of April there. And the fifth house is your original ideas, its ability, and they form absolutely powerful, Venus is forming absolutely powerful Raj Yoga, which is greatness yoga, when it's being born in your fifth house, because it rules the 10th and the 5th. So some creative idea, some new original thought, or some inspiration comes to you, because the fifth house is inspiration, that especially can transform your social status and your career, because Venus also rules your career. So something can be born towards the end of that as an opportunity, as an idea in your mind. Act on it, new creative idea, new business idea that can improve your social status. So even not, it might be even a career opportunity that comes up, because Venus is the ruler of your 10th house of career. And also, if possible, make the first steps if you want to start some business or something that is creatively your own, that it's your own idea. Start it around that time. Maybe, launch a creative project, or buy the name of the company, or inaugurate the company. It's rare and it's beautiful to do it. It's around the time of the Scorpio full moon as well, which is a bit tougher out, but it's still, it's the birth of Venus and Mercury make it a better time for you. Also, you can discover some new passion or hobby in your life, which is the fifth house again, something you are naturally talented at, something that gives you a lot of joy and pleasure. For some of you, it can be the birth of some holiday or some pleasant experience where you can have a lot more fun. Or even if you're someone who is a performer or an artist, this can be an opportunity for you to shine and to bring your art out there. This can be an opportunity for you to be noticed. The fifth house is the house of center stage roles, playing, performing, to bring out your persona out there for others when Venus is being born towards the end of April. Then Mars is in your sixth house till the 23rd of April, and it's been there in March. So probably sometimes it can create some problems with health, like some conditions that flare up, so inflammatory conditions and colds and things like that, temperatures. But if you've had some kind of a sudden acute health problem that appeared, usually Mars says when its transit is there, it's change your lifestyle a little bit. And Mars gives you the energy to change your lifestyle, to maybe get more physically active, or to become more, to have more willpower for some new nutritional, or eliminate or add some supplements or nutrition. Mars gives willpower. And it's there till the 23rd of April. So you have to be, if possible, it's a great time to start some workout, or especially in a way to keep your health better, not just to have fun. And also sixth house is work. Some of you might have had some stresses at work until April 23rd, might be there. Maybe more competitiveness in the work environment, maybe a bit more, you know, this is Martial energy biting. But also it's great to get a lot of things done. Mars loves transiting the sixth house because it's like till the 23rd of April, it's like, it's the energy of I have things to do and I'm going to get them done. And I'm going to put my willpower in getting them done as quickly as possible. I have things to fix. I have engagements, responsibilities. I have this project to finish. So it puts a little, maybe some deadline sometimes. So it puts a bit of pressure for work with you. Usually there is more work. Usually you're more initiative if you don't have a job to try and find one. And it continues till April 23rd. But it's also more stressful mentally as well. And it also allows you to be more organized around you. Sixth house is a house of cleaning, organizing, order. And Mars transiting there makes you like, okay, no nonsense, let's get this done. Let's clean up the house. Let's organize my space. Let's get this, you know, let's find more efficient, faster ways of doing something at your work. Let's get it done. And you might be quite busy with such things, getting them done. And then Mars moves into your seventh house. And at the same time, towards the end of April, planets move into your fifth house, which was one of the things we said was romance, but also having more fun. And then Mars releases you from a lot of responsibilities of work. And, or if you don't work, it's a everyday life. You have like, it's hectic then. You have like things to get done, errands, responsibility. But then from 23rd of April, Mars moves into your seventh house. And the planets here move into a fifth house, more fun, more romance, and seventh house is relationships. So I think that's an important month from the end of April and big part of May for meeting someone important if you want, Capricorns. Being very active in relationships, pursuing someone. Also, you'd attract from the end of April, the whole May, Mars will be in your seventh house, and part of June, you'd attract more Mars-like people, more ambitious, more driven, more feisty, more angry, more pushy, but also more exciting, more motivated. And through someone else, your motivation will also come through someone else. Like, or someone might even say, oh, shit job you're doing, look at that. And you're like, ooh, you get angry, but that motivates you to get things better. But somehow another person motivates you or triggers you into action. It's also good if you collaborate with someone to get things done, but remember there will be competitiveness there because Mars is involved in the seventh house. It also makes you hornier, Mars in the sixth, seventh house transit from the end of May, sorry, from the end of April. Later born Capricorns might feel it in May, and even later born Capricorns, the start of June, but another person might trigger, might press your buttons. That's the law of manifestations, that with clients, for example, with partners, with marriage partners, boyfriends, girlfriend, that you feel more triggered, that maybe they're more irritable, maybe they're more stressed out, and that affects you. There is some kind of a clash possible here. And for me, it's always when Mars transits the seventh house is dealing with clients. Like suddenly 5 angry clients come and say, why didn't you answer my email? So why was my course hasn't arrived or whatever. It comes in a batch for me. But it's not going to be the whole month and a half constantly. This usually when Mars triggers exactly opposite your sun, moon, or ascendant, you'll feel it. But just be forewarned that there will be more feisty people around you, but also use that anger, that fire to get things done. To even to collaborate with others, they can point out to you what is wrong, and you can use that in a very productive way. Plus, also you can be more initiative in pursuing or trying to create more clients, seventh house, and trying to reach more audience. But plus, at the same time, you'll become extremely creative with all those planets in your fifth house, willing to put yourself out there on stage. And to reach out audience, the seventh house is audience, the public. So some of you who are in media like me or something, put yourself out there, create something. You'll become more entertaining when planets in your fifth house, the last 10 days of April and most of May. You'd present any information or any of the product in a more original way. Like a showman, and at the same time you'd reach out to clients and grab them with this Mars in the seventh house. Just be, and as I said again, it's very good to become initiative in relationships. But if you already have some problems in the relationships, Mars can escalate them there. And a good way to resolve them is to be physically active with your partner, to have sex. It's after a fight, cry, and then have sex. Mars in the seventh house will be happy. So, okay, there you go, Capricorns. Let's see. The next sign is Aquarius. Aqua, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Here we go, the most fun. Uh, of course, Aquarius, don't forget that this is the most pivotal year of your life, especially if you're Aquarius rising or Sun or Moon as well, because both Saturn and Jupiter transiting your first house. By the end of this year, you would have changed your life drastically. You would have started on a very different path. It continues throughout the whole year. This is the most important, first house is you and new beginnings, and the two most important social planets are there. You might start a new chapter of your life on a new level with a new social role that you're playing. It's gradually forming out with me. I totally changed the direction of my life that I want to do, the vision for myself. I no longer want the things I wanted before. This happened over the last 3-4 months since Saturn and Jupiter entered. I have a totally new vision for my life. And we're moving in that steps to relocate to a different continent, to start life there for a little bit, and to starting different things. But yeah, this is your big theme for you. It continues. But let's see the smaller themes of the month. Sun, Mercury, and Venus in the first 15 to 20 days of April are in your third house. Very active time for communication, for writing, for speaking, for connecting with like-minded people. If you have anything in media to do, like present some article, record videos, do it now. Mercury, Venus help you. These are benefic planets. The Sun gives you vitality. You might feel a bit overwhelmed in your mind, like your mind is overworking with this third house active there. You're thinking too much, but it is excitable, extrovert energy. You're connecting with a lot of associates. You can do a lot of important things with associates, or in a small group environment, in business, or with meetings. You can, for me, it's been writing a lot and making a lot of videos like crazy, but I've been enjoying it a lot. And it's because Venus allows you to enjoy those things a lot, and it continues most of April. And it's also, you can initiate some commercial transactions, some commercial business opportunities, some website activities, or if you're working on softwares, websites, or some project, or some brand, or some marketing, some advertising, or the forming of some brand. This is all third house activities. It can progress quite well ahead this month because all the planets are helping those planets in Aries. You with your own actions, Saturn and Jupiter making sextile. So your actions are quite giving very good results this month. I think it's a very auspicious month for Aquarius. Overall, Mars is making good aspects to the planets in your third house. So you can have some short trip under a month, or for for a few days. You can be moving a lot more during this month, like going every weekend somewhere, or having to drive a lot more. You can initiate learning new skills, and you'd enjoy those a lot. New skills of any sort, whether it's learning to drive, or whether it's learning to knit, or whether it's learning to operate a software, or learning to edit videos. So it is auspicious for all of those activities, especially launching a new project after the new moon in Aries can be great after the 11th. So the 12th, the 13th, especially on the 13th and 14th is the day of the immortal yoga. Sun in exaltation, moon in exaltation, only one such day in the year, 13th and 14th of April after my birthday. Initiate, especially if you want to initiate something important connected to business project, to commercial transactions, websites, media, information, news. But there'll be an extreme flow of information because we're already in that time. It's like I checked my phone yesterday, spent 9 hours per day on my phone. This like phone is third house as well. Social media, communicating, answering, chatting. So this, you can feel a lot of that. You can find that you're communicating more with people in your everyday environment. You can even find love there with Venus there, or just loving activities. You can find yourself writing, speaking more, speaking up your mind, finding up your voice and communicating about the things you consider important for you, learning some skill, taking some courses. All right, and some short trips, but then gradually the planet starts moving from the middle of the month into your fourth house. Things will calm down. This overstimulation will start, calming down. So from the 15th of April, Venus goes there, and then on the 19th, the Sun and Mercury, or the 20th, enter your fourth house. So the last 10 days of April and the first 20 days of May, the focus shifts to family. The focus becomes more internal. You might be communicating more with your parents. You might be doing something around the house. For me, it's like I'm decorating house over the internet in another country, and that's when they can start, basically from the end of April. And they said every day we'll be on Skype and you'll be choosing what floors, what furniture, whatever. So I'm getting ready for that. So there is a lot of focus on family, on home, on place of living. You might decide to start a garden in your place. You might decide to move a house. And why is this though very important? Yeah, Venus and Mercury move to your fourth house every year, but this year is very different. The activation is way more powerful because Venus and Mercury are being born in your fourth house when they moved there, because they were invisible till April, till the end of April. The last 10 days of April, they become visible. So they basically are born. You can start seeing them at night as evening stars, but currently they're invisible. But when a planet is born, especially Venus, and it's very rare that it will be born in your fourth house. The last time this happened might have been years ago. I don't remember when. Maybe 8 years or more. But this is a rare opportunity because when especially Venus becomes born in your fourth house, something really positive can be born in your family life and in your emotional world, in your personal life. This can be the birth of a family member can appear. A new family member can be added. This can be the start of parenthood for some of you, or the desire for that. For some of you, can be change of place of living. A new home appears, that you start doing something important on you, or you can start doing something new around your home. But it's not a small project. It's something of significance, the end of April, the start of May. For some of you, it's getting in touch with your roots. For some of you, it's getting a lot of interest in, for some of you might be family, starting family, getting in touch with roots, buying property. It's something new. So moving somewhere. So I hope you benefit from that. And if you're in real estate, that might be extremely positive for you from the end of April. If you're in anything to do with catering, nursing, nurturing, working with small children or very elderly people where you mother them, basically, this can again be a very auspicious time for such career endeavors or for such activities. You might find yourself that you're enjoying parenthood a lot more with the birth of those planets, so it becomes easier in some way as well. Something new can appear in the life of your family, your mom as an opportunity as well. New circumstances there. At the same time, Mars, till the 23rd, is in your fifth house, in our fifth house. So for me, it's been, my children were crazy. Fifth house is children. My children were super active, great joy, but quite intense. And a lot of activities with them. We've been doing it, continues till April 23rd, but it means that you can have fun till April 23rd. Be more proactive in pursuing fun, be more proactive in pursuing romantic encounters, and definitely your mind can become more. It's the fifth house is your original thinking. You're brilliant, your own ideas. You can be very active towards pursuing your own creative projects. You might be coming up with ideas, but not only coming up, more like acting on them. And Mars is really helpful because it's in another air sign till the 23rd of April. So whatever you're starting and you're doing, you Aquarius, Mars is helping you. Things to flow easy, to be more fortunate. It tends to give you more joy and pleasure from sports and having fun activities, to be more proactive in them. even to be more initiative to take holidays till the 23rd, to initiate some kind of holiday, or or if you're working on any creative projects, they can happen with more ease, more flow, faster as well. You can progress quite a bit with those things. If you're in any kind of performance or center stage activities, and I've been in center stage activity all the time since Mars moved into the third, constantly on the screen, constantly in the performing, it usually can be more entertaining as well when Mars is there. But also be careful, it can possibility to fight a bit more with your children, possibility to fight with the loved ones, boyfriend, girlfriends, but also to be more initiative and proactive with them, to get things done together, to get things moving. But it is overall very supportive, because whatever actions you take, they come to you with more ease. Doors open more easy till the 21st of April, 23rd of April. Then Mars moves into your sixth house. So from the last 7 days of April, the whole of May, and the first week of June, Mars will be there. So that's a lot of work. You start working. You start working much harder, and you start maybe chasing more deadlines, but you get a lot used, a lot done. Maybe when Mars is in the fifth house, you get to have more fun a little bit and chase such things. When it goes into the sixth house, you're like, okay, let's get everything done. And maybe there'll be more work projects. Also, there might be more competitiveness in your workplace. And also, there might be the need that you're asked to take care more of your health, because some inflammatory conditions or nervous conditions can come up, or some sudden onset health conditions that can hit you. And that's a great sign that you need to get active with changing something in your daily routines. Maybe working out more, or maybe pacing yourself with work, or maybe taking some supplements. But something comes up if usually you're not balancing your health. When Mars transits the sixth house, the signs appear, so you can take some proactive steps in tackling that health problem. Sometimes there can be problems with employment when Mars transits the sixth house, and sometimes but usually they're more initiative. Usually they're, but again, there can be some clashes at the workplace. But usually you get a lot of things done. That's what I've noticed with Mars there. So there you go, Aquarius. Interesting. I hope you enjoyed that one. And again, I repeat, this is the most important year for you. And some of you might say, oh, nothing important has happened late. There's still the end of the year. Something will change your life. Like a new phase of your life is starting this whole year. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. The month starts with a combination of planets in your second house. So it's more about financial security the first 15 days, 20 days, about maybe buying something valuable, maybe sorting things out, your possessions, your assets, maybe investing in something can be quite beneficial, because those planets in Aries receive a lot of good aspects. So if you're buying something, I don't know whether it's something of beauty that you enjoy, or something that is going to be useful for you, like equipment or whatever, it tends to be quite auspicious because of all the good aspects the Sun, Mars, and Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are making from Aries. So I think you'll make very good financial decisions. So if there are investments, there might be some spending that you do as well, but I think it will be for good that come to you the first 15, 20 days. You can consolidate, solidify your financial situation somehow. More money comes to you, so if you're launching something or whatever, a course or whatever you want it to be, a project, you can see better results with those planets, especially if you're Pisces ascendant. You can definitely, with the Sun and Moon too, to a lesser degree, but the ascendant is always the most important. So you can see better financial results. You can choose very beautiful, good quality things. At the same time, gradually though, the planets start moving into your third house. And there can be a lot of focus on family. The second house rules family, getting things practically done. But then Venus from the 15th, 14th of April moves into your third house. and then Mercury and the Sun from the 20th. So the last part of the month, the last 10 days, there's a lot more focus. Things become way more dynamic, from security, stability, money, resources that you are focused. Maybe you are making more money, or trying to get a bigger salary, or bigger paying job, or saving, or doing something with your assets and valuables. Then it goes into very dynamic mode. The third house is communication, short trips, travels, uh, daily exchanges. Like, it's like your mind goes on overdrive. That's the last 10 days of April and most of May. So you can do a lot of contacts that are very auspicious for you. Why is that? This transit is extremely important because the end of April is when the Mercury and Venus are being born. That happens very rare. Venus will be born again in your third house in 8 years from now, or even it might be more. I'm not sure. It's very rare to be born in a specific area. Venus gets born in the chart twice in 2 years, in 19 months, and usually in very different areas of your horoscope. But they're getting born, both Venus and Mercury, at the same time. They're becoming visible in your third house, which means that something new and very positive will appear to you that can even bring you money, because Venus is the planet that benefits you through third house activities. So it might be an opportunity to teach a course. It might be an opportunity to educate, to train someone. It might be an opportunity for you to learn something, to develop an interest in some area, and to decide to develop some skills that can be eventually down the road, like financially beneficial, those new skills that you learn. It can be the birth of a new associate connection, creating new contacts and associates, someone that you can make in a small group environment to do some project. It can be the birth of a new commercial project. It might be the birth of a website, the birth of a brand, the birth of a commercial, of a new business idea. Then you have to initiate it, and you initiate it. You will, but it's good. It's good for you. There can be the possibility to travel somewhere, some short trip to form. Take it. The possibility to do something with social media, to bring your business online. That's another third house activities. The opportunity to start a website, the opportunity to reach out new clients, better ones. So this is the third house of connecting, contacts, business, commercial transactions, communications. If you're invited to brainstorm with others, something great can come up. Or to do a project with 2 or 3 other people. Wow, again, take it. Something good can happen in the life of your siblings, third house, or relatives, or some, or mates that affect you in a positive way, or just learning some new skill that is or learning something new. This is third house, or short trip of some sort. So I like those things. Okay, so at the same time, Mars has been in your fourth house for the past month, and it has another 23 days. So till the 23rd of April that it will stay in your fourth house. So that sometimes is stressful emotionally, because the fourth house is where we need to have peace. It's home to be peaceful, and Mars there, like, so sometimes it becomes like stressful. Your family can be more stressful. Your parental responsibilities may be more stressful and overwhelming. Something to do with the home, whether selling or buying or fixing something that breaks more easy around the home, or even fighting with family, parents. It's more happens. It just puts stress on you there. But on the positive, it means that till the 23rd of April, you can still fix things at home. You can get very physically active with your family, or get some project together that you do, or you can fix something, the fence, or if you need some physical activity, for example, if you're moving property, whatever, Mars there gives you the energy to do that. Selling, buying. But it's kind of restless psychologically and emotionally. It makes you more emotionally reactive, and also makes you more irritable with others overall, because Mars also aspects the 7th house. So till the 21st, 23rd of April, just remember this is there. Usually I advise people to do something active at home to take off this energy. For example, to dig a bit in the garden, to move the furniture a bit, to fix some things around the house. This is the best way to use it. But then from the 23rd of April, Mars is moving into your 5th house, very auspicious position. And it's going to be helping you for the whole month from the 23rd of April, the whole month of May, and the start of June with a trine aspect. This is awesome because suddenly you start having a bit more your energy. You're not going to be so easily irritable from the end of April. You're going to be more harmonious emotionally. You're going to be more playful. You're going to become more fun. Plus, you become more communicative. You start connecting with people from the end of April, a lot more socially active. And Mars here makes you even pursue love and romantic relationships, or just become more childlike, or just act on your inspirations. I think it's going to be very good from the end of April if you have, especially if you're in media or business, which is 3rd house, communications. Mars is also in the 5th house of self-made business, in a sense that this is your own idea and you're the face of it, you're performing it, you're doing it. So you can be very proactive into, for example, taking a business idea of yours, which is, some new original idea, acting on it, Mars, and you have the 3rd house help of, of how to organize it, how to plan it, how to do the, the branding on it. The 3rd house are the more know-how. It's like skill sets that for a business. And the 5th house is the brilliant new original idea and that you act on it. Also, 5th house, Mars in the 5th house can indicate that children are a little bit more active. There's some new things that are coming in their life, but it's way easier than Mars in the 4th house, where the whole family atmosphere stresses the heck out of you. In the 5th, it's just like you might be active more with your children, have more fun times. 5th house is to enjoy yourself more, to go have fun, and to actively pursue that fun, and even romantic experiences, go on more dates, for example. Perform. If you're in any kind of situation where you can perform, Mars will help you with that. Pursue actively holidays and enjoyable situations. That's mostly in May, from the end of April. So there you go, Pisces. Don't forget you're in a 12th house year. The most important planet, Saturn and Jupiter, in your 12th house. So give yourself a break when you can. Don't force yourself too much. Don't try to see always the solution of everything. Usually things will clarify themselves when Jupiter starts entering your sign, when Saturn as well. And this year, just take it a bit easier at times. Complete all things overall. Work on the subconscious, have more rest. Work with your imagination more, in nature, in more spiritual activities, in study or research. These are the things that will be great for you. Preparing something, but not yet fully starting it. I mean, if it's something really big, you have the path. Even if you have no idea, you know what you have to do and where you have to head by next year when Jupiter fully enters your sign. So thank you so much, all of you. Check out my calendar. It's 50% off for 2021, or the video horoscopes, they're 50% off for 2021. It's like, I think they're only $9 for each of the 12 signs. And check out the new courses that we do every month. Thank you.